You know, they say lava is edible, but only once. On the other side, Halo Bytes is completely edible as many times as you want. Just watch out.
There's no lava in Halo.
In what way is that an intro?
I actually keep knives stored inside of the Halo Bytes.
Oh God.
What the hell are any of you talking about?
We all went in completely different directions. Good job, team.
You just dropped like a shrapnel mine into this chat and we all just took very different distinct chunks of it.
We scrambled. After seeing a blog post by Haruspis about positivity when it comes to Halo a while back, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about some positivity about Infinite ourselves. So, this is 4 reasons why we're excited for Infinite.
I'll admit, I was really worried about this game when its first gameplay reveal in July was kind of underwhelming. Much of the news since has suggested this game is on a long descent into mediocrity, but then something silly and funny happened. They announced the next release window, and it was almost a year after their initial release. I don't need to tell you why hiring Joseph Staten is the best idea 343 could possibly make. As an avid Halo fan, you must know that he voiced every single grunt during the Bungie era. They got the original grunt voice actor back, so you know this game is going to be good. The grunts are there.
So true.
Hell yeah.
Right? We're sitting on a 1-year delay for this game to make sure it comes out kicking, and they've got an old writer from Bungie on board.
Not just an old writer, the old writer.
I'm fairly confident that they can sort out any of the problems in the game, find some strong narrative direction, and come out with a fantastic new installation of the Halo franchise for the next generation consoles. They've already got solid villains planned. Astartes and his band of Banished are fun, energetic, and more importantly, super evil and super killable. Master Chief has a new rogues gallery of dudes to beat up, and this time it's an expensive next-gen title with Joseph Staten on the docket. I think that's pretty good. That doesn't mean they're set for life, though. I, of all people, know that delaying the release and hiring a seasoned writer for the franchise is not a good game make.
But it certainly helps.
They're not out of the weeds yet, but 343 has proven with Halo 4 that they can make good stories, and with Halo 5 that they can make fun games to play. I'm hopeful that by fall of 2021, they will manage to get Halo Infinite to come together and make a wonderful new installment in the Halo franchise.
So true.
So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.
That's some real girl boss stuff that you just said.
Nathan, it's your time now. You can't keep saying so true, bestie. So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.
Do you remember when the Master Chief Collection launched? Kind of a disaster, right? Nobody could play. Either 343 and Microsoft were completely in the dark about how broken their game was, or they knew, and pushed out something unfinished. Now, this isn't about MCC. I want to focus on something else I just said. Nobody could play. The resounding cry from the community was simply, I just want to play Halo. I'm not going to try to make excuses or make light of that awful situation that was MCC's launch. But you know what? That's a good problem to have. All people wanted to do was play your game. They were hungry for Halo. Unfortunately, it has been a long, long road to get to a state where they could sate that hunger. At least there was demand for the game instead of contempt or disinterest. Now let's fast forward to 2021. Halo Infinite has been delayed along with a very scarce ad campaign. We have Chief in Fortnite, Master Chief Cat, toys, and that's it. You know what that means though? The community is getting hungry again. It's an insatiable hunger. But there's another cry from the community. We want to play Halo.
And another thing about the marketing with Halo, we really do know more about the game from its merchandise than the game. 343 has been putting out their monthly Inside Infinite blog posts where we have been progressively seeing like closer and closer glimpses of Banshees in the skyline. We don't really know what the Halo Infinite Banshee looks like, unless you go to Target and check out the Mega Block section and buy the Halo Infinite Banshee there, because you can basically see things that are in the game before we know what the models really look like. It's been wild for a long time. It's definitely an unprecedented marketing turn for Halo.
Halo and Halo Infinite has been trending multiple times with each small content drop like the delay, Fortnite, and the blog post addressing concerns. Oh, and the Master Chief Cat. The fans want this. The community wants this. There is something to be said about stretching our fan base a little thin and people losing interest for a while. But I can tell you, right now, that once things start kicking up again, and we're going to be up to our helmets in hype and then some. We'll get through it. We'll manage. It'll be difficult, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how small it may be. It makes me happy that all people want to do is play my favorite video game franchise. I can't wait for us all to play Halo again.
Not that I don't share any of those sentiments, but I personally can wait, because this delay is unambiguously a good thing. I know we've talked about it before, but 343 has got a great thing going with MCC, and I mean, at least now it does. And it's obviously helped them to refocus on the core Halo gameplay loop from a developmental standpoint. If that also means we're getting content, especially content from my favorite Halo game, while they take the time they need to make this the best game possible, I'm all in. Because people are playing Halo, they're playing MCC. And speaking of the gameplay, it looks and sounds damn good. Again, 343 has shown in their Inside Infinite blogs that they understand what makes the core gameplay great, something they've massively refined since Halo 4. And with Halo 5, they showed that they know how to meaningfully vary and evolve that core gameplay into something deeper or just different.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here, and it just says, Halo Infinite open map inverted super awesome, so trying to remember what I meant there. I think what I meant was that in Halo 5, you had all these interesting sandbox arenas, right? There were power weapons scattered all over the map. There were interesting vertical sections that were so few and far between, but if you used your Spartan abilities, you could find these interesting caches of weapons and secret little bits of hidden lore. It feels like with Halo Infinite, they've taken that design philosophy and expanded it into like a big team battle type situation, or even like going back to Halo Reach, like maps the size of Forge World seems to be what they're sort of thinking about when making these new locations and campaign designs.
Which is a great thing, because as much as Halo 5 had all this potential for its gameplay, and as much as it took advantage of it in multiplayer, the campaign designs well designed around these things all felt a little bit confined, I guess, not very deep. Not
Cramped,
as deep as they could be, especially given.
I would even describe, like, it didn't reach their full potential.
Yeah.
Which has been something that has been a through line for Halo, I think, forever. So while some people would decry this type of gameplay for losing its identity because of Spartan abilities, mobility, or verticality, I could not disagree more. I think that Halo 5 still maintains core tenets of what makes Halo Halo, as much as that can be a thing. And plus, even from that crowd, you often hear, it's a good game, it's just not a Halo game, which I just can't really wrap my head around on principle. If it's a good game, and it's Halo, I think that kind of becomes irrelevant. And it's looking to shape up that way for Infinite. Plus, it is a return to form. The only thing I have concerns about are the story, especially regarding Halo's motifs and thematics. Like so much franchising efforts, a lot of 343 era stuff kind of gets lost in the weeds with world building and just turning wheels and disappearing up into itself. A world should serve as a story, not the other way around, and both should have a thematic centering. I think this is a conversation for another time, since I have a lot of thoughts on the matter, but for now I'll just say, while I'm not sure what Halo Infinite could do to recenter Halo's core motifs and themes while doing something new, I will say this. Getting the original writer on board in a narrative capacity bodes very, very well.
And the spiritual reboot aspect. I'm starting to realize that that's actually a really good thing, that there's a spiritual reboot.
It's not just about like doing new things, but it's also about doing away with old bad things.
But also to that degree, it doesn't look like they're kind of throwing out the baby with the bathwater. It looks like they're not just kind of trying to glaze over, Halo 4 and 5 as a whole, especially since there are a lot of really good things from that. It feels like it's playing nice with that in a way, while also giving people who didn't care for it, kind of what they want. The centering on Chief as a character is still there, just in a different, more traditional way. But I don't feel like that negates all of the very good character work they did in Halo 4.
It does look like a nice marriage.
The reason I'm excited for Infinite is the Banished. Naysayers will decry them as the evil Red Covenant or just another retread, but from a narrative perspective, enemies with character to them are generally better than hordes of robots. That's not to say that the Prometheans don't have strong character design to them, it's more so the copy-paste nature of robot armies can mean a lot of character is lost. Love the little arms though. To me, Halo's strongest dynamic has always been about humanity versus the Covenant. The Banished are a great way to reintroduce similar elements of that dynamic, but change it up just enough to keep it fresh. The The Banished use human weapons, they're brute-led, and they're not a religious authority either. They went to the Ark to use it as a tool. It's really cool that our newest enemy is encountered picking through the bones of the previous one.
I know that's something I love. I was just talking about kind of returning to a thematic core, and while I didn't originally see how the Banished could do that, inverting the Covenant from this zealous religious fanaticism to a, more practical-minded remnant is a very interesting inversion of that.
Now, admittedly, I'm more excited about the Banished because of what we've seen gameplay-wise, namely the assassination missions. In the Halo Infinite demo trailer thing, we saw, ever so briefly, a world map with different objectives on it. One of those was to assassinate a named elite character, a dynamic similar in concept to Halo Wars 2's introduction of the Banished, where a group of unique ex-Covenant creatures have banded around Atriox, and it seems the same can be said for Escharum and his forces on the Ring.
We saw a lot of things on that map too. There was an upgrades tab, a database of sorts, and a weird difficulty symbol. A decent amount of thought was put into this.
It's a tried and true element of large open-ended games. Take on the evil generals to defeat the big guy at the end. I've had fun with it in basically every game I played with it in it. Borderlands 2, Titanfall 2, Destiny 2, lots of 2s. It's a good dynamic. It's fun. Just seems like fun gameplay. That's it. That's my take. Seems dope. I like the Red Covenant. Give me more merchandise. I'll buy a third Atriox. Don't even test me, bro.
All right, everyone. I think I hear my cat outside. I think he wants in, so that's going to have to be the end of the video. I'm sorry, everyone.
Meow, this is your cat. Nathan, I'm your cat. Let me in.
Oh, hi, cat.
I demand wet food.
No.
No, it's bad for your teeth.
Healthcare, please.
No, it's wet food time.
If you have more reasons to be excited about Halo Infinite, then leave them in the comments. I will see you around or something.
So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.